Hey there, let's chat about biotechnology, shall we? I mean, if you've ever popped a pill made from genetically engineered bacteria or eaten a pest-resistant corn on the cob, you've already brushed up against this powerhouse of a field. Biotechnology is essentially using living systems and organisms to develop or create products that improve our lives. Think harnessing the power of biology to solve real-world problems. It's not some futuristic sci-fi stuff. It's happening right now in labs, farms, and factories all over the globe. At its core, biotech blends biology, chemistry, engineering, and even computer science to manipulate things like DNA, cells, and enzymes. And trust me, it's revolutionized everything from medicine to agriculture, making things we once thought impossible totally routine. You know, it's like giving nature a high-tech upgrade to tackle diseases, feed the world, and even clean up our environmental messes. So, where did this all start? Well, biotechnology isn't a new kid on the block. Humans have been dabbling in it for thousands of years without even knowing the fancy term. Think about ancient civilizations brewing beer or making bread. That's basic biotech. Using yeast to ferment sugars into alcohol or carbon dioxide. The Egyptians were pros at it, and so were the Chinese with soy sauce. Fast forward to the 1800s, and Louis Pasteur figures out pasteurization, killing off harmful microbes in milk and wine. A biotech win for food safety. But the real explosion happened in the 20th century with the discovery of DNA's structure in 1953 by Watson, Crick, and Franklin. That unlocked the door to genetic engineering, where we could start tweaking genes on purpose. By the 1970s, scientists like Herbert Boyer and Stanley Cohen pioneered recombinant DNA technology, basically cutting and pasting genes from one organism into another. Imagine sticking a human insulin gene into bacteria so they churn out the stuff for diabetics. That was a game changer, and it's why insulin isn't harvested from animal pancreases anymore. Now, let's get into the nitty-gritty of how biotech works. It all revolves around manipulating biological processes at the molecular level. Take DNA cloning, for instance. That's where you make copies of a specific gene and insert it into a host like bacteria or yeast. These little factories then produce proteins or compounds we need. Polymerase chain reaction, or PCR, is another star player. It's like a photocopier for DNA, amplifying tiny samples for testing diseases or forensics. And don't get me started on CRISPR-Cas9. This gene editing tool, borrowed from bacterial immune systems, lets us snip and edit DNA with precision, like a molecular pair of scissors. It's being used to fix genetic disorders, create disease-resistant crops, and even potentially eradicate mosquitoes that carry malaria. But hey, it's not all high-tech gadgets. Sometimes it's as simple as using enzymes to speed up reactions, like in laundry detergents that break down stains or in experiments where kids explore how temperature affects enzyme activity. Those hands-on projects show that biotech isn't just for lab coats. It's accessible and educational, helping us understand the basics of life itself. Speaking of applications, medicine is where biotech really shines. We're talking about over 250 biotechnology healthcare products and vaccines available today, many for diseases that were once a death sentence. Think monoclonal antibodies that target cancer cells specifically, leaving healthy ones alone, or gene therapies that insert corrected genes into patients with conditions like cystic fibrosis. The COVID-19 vaccines? A prime example. mRNA tech from biotech companies like Moderna and Pfizer taught our cells to produce spike proteins, training our immune systems without using the actual virus. It's saved millions of lives and shown how quickly biotech can respond to global crises. On the flip side, it's also about diagnostics. Biotech tools like CRISPR-based tests can detect viruses or genetic mutations in hours, not days. And for chronic issues, Things like engineered insulin pumps or biologic drugs for arthritis are making everyday life manageable. It's incredible how this field turns the body's own mechanisms into weapons against illness. But medicine isn't the only playground. Agriculture is huge in biotech too. More than 13.3 million farmers worldwide use agricultural biotechnology to boost yields, fend off pests, and lessen environmental harm. Genetically modified organisms, or GMOs, are the stars here. For example, crops engineered with Bt toxin from the bacterium Bacillus thuringiensis produce their own insecticide. Insects munch on the plant, ingest the toxin, and it gets activated in their guts, stopping them from feeding and leading to their demise within days, all without spraying chemicals. The genes for this crystal toxin have been cloned and popped into plants like corn and cotton, reducing pesticide use and increasing food production. It's not just about more food, it's about sustainable farming. Drought-resistant varieties help in water-scarce areas, and nutrient-enhanced rice like golden rice tackles vitamin deficiencies in developing countries. Critics worry about long-term effects, but the data shows these crops have fed billions without the doomsday scenarios some predicted. Now, let's pivot to industrial biotechnology, because it's not all about health and food, it's also about making stuff greener. We're building more than 50 biorefineries across North America to turn renewable biomass into biofuels and chemicals, cutting down on greenhouse gases. Imagine using algae or corn stalks to produce ethanol instead of drilling for oil. That's biotech enzymes breaking down plant material into usable fuels. It's part of the bioeconomy, where we engineer microbes to churn out plastics, textiles, or even fragrances from sustainable sources. Take bio-based plastics. They're made from fermented sugars rather than petroleum, and they biodegrade easier. Or enzymes in detergents that work in cold water, saving energy. This side of biotech is tackling climate change head-on, turning waste into wealth and reducing our fossil fuel addiction. Companies are even engineering yeast to produce spider silk proteins for super strong, lightweight materials. Nature's tech meets human ingenuity. Environmental biotech is another unsung hero. Ever heard of bioremediation? That's using microbes or plants to clean up pollution, like oil spills or heavy metals in soil. Bacteria engineered to munch on toxins break them down into harmless substances, restoring contaminated sites. It's been a lifesaver after disasters like the Exxon Valdez spill. Phytoremediation uses plants like sunflowers to suck up pollutants from the ground. Cheap, effective, and eco-friendly. And in water treatment, biotech filters out nasties using biofilms of beneficial bacteria. As we face more environmental challenges, this field is ramping up, with innovations like plastic-eating enzymes discovered in junkyards, potentially solving our plastic waste crisis. It's biotech giving Earth a helping hand to heal itself. Of course, we can't talk biotech without touching on the ethical minefield. It's a double-edged sword. The power to edit genes raises questions like, should we create designer babies? Or what about patenting life forms, like genetically modified seeds that farmers have to buy anew each year? There's the GMO debate. While they boost food security, some fear cross-pollination with wild plants or unknown health risks, though decades of studies say they're safe. Animal welfare comes up too, with cloning or genetic tweaks in livestock. And in medicine, access is key. These cutting-edge treatments are pricey, widening the gap between rich and poor nations. Regulations like the FDA's oversight help, but global standards vary, leading to biotech tourism, where people seek unapproved therapies abroad. It's crucial we balance innovation with responsibility, involving ethicists, scientists, and the public in the conversation. Looking back at history again, biotech's timeline is dotted with milestones that shaped society. The 1980s saw the first biotech company, Genentech, go public, sparking an industry boom. By the 1990s, the Human Genome Project mapped our DNA, opening doors to personalized medicine. The 2000s brought stem cell controversies and the rise of synthetic biology, where we design entirely new biological parts. Today, with AI crunching genetic data, we're accelerating discoveries, predicting protein structures or simulating cell behaviors in silico. It's like biology on steroids, pun intended. Diving deeper into medical biotech, let's talk about regenerative medicine. Stem cells, those versatile blank slates, can be coaxed into becoming heart tissue, neurons, or skin for transplants. Biotech firms are growing organs in labs, potentially ending donor shortages. For instance, 3D bioprinting layers cells into functional tissues. Imagine printing a kidney tailored to you. Cancer therapies have evolved too. CAR T cells are engineered from a patient's own immune cells to hunt down tumors. It's personalized, potent, and a testament to how biotech turns the body's defenses into precision weapons. Rare diseases, often overlooked, now have hope through orphan drugs developed via biotech, like enzyme replacement for Gaucher's disease. In agriculture, beyond BT crops, there's vertical farming powered by biotech. LED lights mimic sunlight, and genetically optimized plants grow faster in controlled environments, using less water and land. It's urban farming on the rise, feeding cities sustainably. Livestock biotech includes editing genes for disease resistance, like pigs immune to swine fever, reducing antibiotic use and improving animal welfare. Aquaculture benefits too. Genetically selected salmon grow quicker, easing pressure on wild stocks. But it's not without pushback. Labeling laws for GMOs vary, and organic farmers worry about contamination. Still, as the global population hits 10 billion by 2050, biotech might be our best shot at food security without ravaging the planet. Industrial biotech extends to biofuels, but also to biofabrication. Lab-grown leather from engineered cells skips the cow, appealing to vegans and environmentalists alike. Or biofuels from engineered algae that photosynthesize CO2 into oil. It's carbon-neutral energy. Chemical synthesis gets a biotech twist too. Microbes produce vanillin, vanilla flavor, from waste, cheaper and greener than extracting from orchids. The circular economy thrives here, recycling waste into value. Think turning food scraps into bioplastics via fermentation. Environmentally, biotech is key in conservation. Genetic tools track endangered species through environmental DNA in water samples, mapping biodiversity without disturbing habitats. Synthetic biology creates biosensors that detect pollutants in real time. And for climate tech, engineered trees or microbes could sequester more carbon, mitigating warming. It's proactive biotech, not just reactive. Educationally, biotech inspires the next generation. Simple experiments, like exploring enzyme reactions and what affects their rates, make complex concepts tangible. Schools incorporate biotech kits for DNA extraction or bacterial transformation, sparking careers in STEM. Outreach programs demystify the field, showing it's not elitist but essential. Challenges persist, though. Intellectual property battles over gene patents can stifle research. Biosecurity risks, engineered pathogens falling into wrong hands, demand strict controls. And misinformation fuels anti-biotech sentiments, like vaccine hesitancy or GMO myths. Education and transparency are vital to build trust. The future? Bright and bold. Nanobiotech merges tiny machines with biology for targeted drug delivery. Quantum computing could model biological systems impossibly complex today. Space biotech explores growing food on Mars or engineering microbes for extraterrestrial mining. Personalized nutrition via gut microbiome analysis tailors diets to your genes. And global health equity, affordable biotech for developing world diseases like malaria or tuberculosis. In biotech hotspots like Boston or Silicon Valley, startups flourish, backed by billions in investments. Collaborations between academia, industry, and governments accelerate progress, as seen in rapid vaccine development. Yet, we must navigate inequalities. Ensuring low-income countries access biotech tools, like cheap diagnostics or seeds, is crucial. International agreements on gene editing prevent a Wild West scenario. Biotech touches daily life subtly. Your yogurt? Probiotics from biotech. Cosmetics? Peptides from engineered yeast. Even art, bioartists use living materials for installations. As we face pandemics, food shortages, and climate woes, biotech offers solutions. But it's on us to use it wisely, ethically, and inclusively. From ancient brews to CRISPR edits, it's a journey of human curiosity harnessing life's code. So next time you hear about a new vaccine or supercrop, tip your hat to biotechnology. It's reshaping our world, one gene at a time.